Okay, so we are live now, and before we start, this is Nerf This, episode 2. Let's go. Ciao. Okay, so we are live now para sa Nerf This episode 2. I'm Excelsior PH, and with me are two Tyrant members, no? Miggy the Great and Adele. Yes, say hi, guys.
What's up?
Ah, yes, up.
Hi everyone, Mickey the Great and Adele. We're from Tyrants.
Mm-hmm.
And meron kaming Facebook group, Facebook page for our team.
Yes. Okay. So let me start the show, of course. This is, again, Nerf This, a Game Patch talk show that I made para mas ma-update yung mga players regarding sa changes of the games. And so it's not exclusive to just LOR. So I do this for other games that I play as well. And right now, ito ang ating dalawang players ang invite ko kasi they have been active over at the Channel 8 Games Hub LOR tournaments. And syempre, dahil active sila, alam nila kung ano yung ins and outs of the game, other cards as well. And Ayan, so of course, since they know much of the game, and of course, I am a noob. I'm not going to give my 2 cents. Baka di maniwala yung mga ibang players. So I would rather outsource it to more experienced players like here, Miggy and Adele. Okay, so first, before we start the actual Nerf this section of the or card review section of the show, let's ask Miggy the Great. Okay, so Miggy the Great, can you give us a background of you as a player? Ano ba mga nilalaro mo mga games? Not specific to LOR. Any other games that you play? How you started? Okay, so can you
Okay.
introduce yourself more?
Yeah. Before LOR, I was playing Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So competitively, like I play on Grand Prix, like regional Pro Tour qualifiers. So, yun yung mga tournaments na hosted within C.
Mm.
Like, lumilipad talaga ako for just to play in those tournaments. Kahit
Wow.
kahit shoulder ko yung cost. So yeah, I was that addicted to the game before.
Yeah, so
And
basically, Miggy, totoo ba na yung MTG is like paper crack?
well, besides sa pagiging addict sa mismong gameplay, 'di ba?
Uh,
Meron mga taong na-addict din yung sa pag-crack ng packs, right?
yeah.
Yung yung the smell daw of fresh cardboard, mga
Mm-mm.
ganun.
Di ba? Oo. So, you talagang you gravitate towards the card games or since you have an MTG background.
mm, like, MTG, nung college ko lang siya actually na
Mm-mm.
discover.
Yeah.
So, hindi talaga like before no high school siguro
Mm.
yung pinaka video games that I play were more
Mm.
of NBA 2K, FIFA, yung mga ganun, yung mga
Mm.
sports like more on console talaga.
Mm.
And then um basta random, like random na casual lang, walang masyadong competitive na ano. So
Mm.
MTG was my first na game na I really tried hard
Mm.
to to do well.
Yep. So, ganun talaga, no? You really have to start somewhere. And of course, um ako personally, di talaga ako multiplayer games or nag-MTG din ako nung elementary ako. Pero I would just went it for 2 expansions lang. Tapos yung Worms yata yung naalala ko na last na expansion na na pinaggastosan ko. Pero elementary ako noon so wala na ako magastos. So anyway, I didn't get into it. But again, CCGs have been good in this season since mostly digital yung mga games natin. But before we go move on to the next part, let's go to Adele, of course. Adele, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Miggy. How did you start playing other games, or what other games do you play aside from Legends of Runeterra?
Yeah, so brief esports background about me is I was part of a competitive team.
Mm.
So yun doon ako nag-start into esports.
Mm.
And then after that, actually before that pa, with regards to card games naman, like Miggy, I also played competitive Magic the Gathering from 2006 to 2009.
Mm.
Then I stopped. And then
Wow.
I also played Hearthstone on and off. So
Okay.
I played the beta, and then
Mm.
nung hindi na maganda masyado yung patches for me, I bumalik ulit. So I'm really into card games as well.
Wow. So parang what made you um parang continue playing card games na parang switching from paper to CCG? Oh, sorry, to digital card games. What made you
Mm.
switch?
Siguro yung idea na mas mabilis yung kuha ng cards,
Mm.
mas madali mag-nerf, yung kagaya ng what we're gonna talk about tonight. Mabilis yung mga nerf and changes and
Yep.
balance adjustments. So that's the most that's an advantage I think of digital card games.
Yep. Okay. So, with that may mga intros na tayo sa mga ating reviewers, or rather panelists, or mga experts. Experts Nakita mo nilagay ko sa baba LOR player lang sa pangalan nyo kasi baka mamaya may umalma eh. Gusto ko sana lagay LOR pro player kasi basically kumita na kayo sa paglalaro. Pero anyway, baka mamaya may umalma. Kaya LOR player na lang muna.
Better
Anyway,
safe than sorry.
yes, of course. And before we go, sa mga hindi alam, we already have a new patch. It's patch 1.6, tama ba, guys?
Yes, correct.
1.6.
1.6.
Okay, so it came out. That's why we're making this show. This is what's all about. And unahin natin, no? Alphabetical to. Okay, gumawa muna ako ng PowerPoint. I actually made a PowerPoint presentation para dito lang. Corporate na corporate, no? Sige, okay. So, nakita nyo yung setup natin bago ngayon. Talk show na talk show. Kunyari nakaupo kayo sa couch, kayong dalawa. Tapos ito yung screen natin. Look at our screen. Of course, thank you
I
again
like
to
it.
everyone who's watching. Pro na pro tayo na. Parang late night. Late night with Excelsior PH and the Tyrants. Okay, so let's start. Okay lang. Bawal pala ako maingay. Tulog yung baby. Anyway, unang-una, Arena Bookie cost is from 3 to 2, and now the health is also from 1 to 2. So, first thoughts from Miggy the Great.
So, first, ginawa na lang, it's less fragile now. So, it's not easily answered by the common cheap cards like Wild Feast,
Mm-hmm.
Make It Rain.
Mm-hmm.
So, it can stick for a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? This Arena book. And then for the cost, uh, yeah, they want this. They want to see this played in the meta for sure,
Yep.
because of the uh, cost reduction as well.
So, Adele, bago magtanong ng next questions, what are your initial insights into this card?
I agree that this card will see some playability. Riot has been really pushing yung discard archetype. Especially with the nerfs, with the other cards, ayoko preempt, pero na-nerf yung dalawang main Noxus 2 drops, no? So, this is an alternative because pumasok siya sa 2 cost as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, this card should see some play with synergy with Draven discard aggro.
Wow. Okay. So, may question ako, no? Which aside from what you said, the Draven discard aggro, um, considering that it's as you said, Miggy, stronger in terms of health, not easily removed. Um, would you put this in a Jinx or a purely discard deck? Like for example, yung sinabi mo kanina, Adele, discard. Also, I'm thinking kasi from the top of my head, there's a Jinx deck, mostly aggro. Would this be possible, Miggy?
Yeah, definitely. Like down the road, we're gonna see other buffs, or rather reworks sa cards that discard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those cards are in Piltover and Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So together with this Noxus card,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, feeling ko buong buo yung yung archetype.
So, for Adele naman, what are the pitfalls of this kind of mechanic? No, discard your lowest cost card to draw one.
Actually, it has very nice synergy talaga with Draven and Jinx. I think
Mm.
yun yung magiging main champions ng deck. Because if you would see the mechanic, discard your lowest cost card.
Mm.
So, pag dinrap mo si Draven, di ba meron siyang spinning axes.
Yes.
So, i-discard mo na yung spinning axe and then you'll get
Mm.
another free card. So, yun yung
Wow.
nakikita kong malakas na synergy ng deck. And actually, I was doing some Master's Ladder kanina. Meron na mga nagra-run ng discard aggro even though hindi pa live yung patch.
Oh, wow.
And I lost those games against them. I was using Karma Ezreal. So the deck has really potential. I'm
Kasi
looking
lang
forward to it.
at,
Ang
yeah.
downfall lang siguro niya would be the uh, inconsistency.
Yep.
Discard aggro decks tend to be inconsistent. Parang pag hindi mo na-draw yung mga right spells, if you have too much discard and not too much synergy, yun yung magiging problem niya. So it's really fitting the pieces together.
Okay. So, okay, I think we're done dito sa Arena Bookie. Let's move on to the next card. Okay na kayo dito? Do you have any words
Yeah?
to say? Okay na? Good na, Miggy?
Yeah, aside from spinning axis, I can also add yung the mushroom clouds.
Yes,
Mushroom clouds.
yes.
It's also a good it's also a good fodder dito sa discard your lowest cost card since they're one cost.
Yep. Yep. So, parang, yeah, actually, maganda nga siya. I was thinking of the two cost puff cap generator saka yung 4 cost, di ba? So, pwede nga sila. Lalo na yung 4 cost, dalawa kasi yung produce niya. So, basically, we'll have free draw with that. No? Pag na-discard sila. Yep. Okay,
Yun
let's
pala
move.
sa
Sa-
Piltover and Zone, maraming cards na when you discard it, may effect pa rin sila. Like Vision,
Yep.
yung Scrap Shuttler ba yun? Yung
Scrap
1
Scuttler.
cost 1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Pwede, no? So, pwedeng baka mamaya may makita
Solid
mo merong
card.
you might see a Noxus / Piltover and Zon deck also. So, let's move on to the next card. So, Basilisk Rider, yan. Ako, ginagamit ko sa aggro deck ko eh. Anyway, we have here a Basilisk Rider from 5 to 4 ang power niya. Di ba ang mangyayari siya kanya, it will become a 6/4 once it has allegiance, no? And plus overwhelm. Now it's down to magiging 5/4 na lang siya. So, let's start with Adele first. What are the implications of this kind of deck change or card change?
My thoughts, being an aggro player myself, it's about time. The card is really too powerful. I breezed through Climbing Masters because of this card. Parang ano siya if malapag mo siya, it puts so much pressure on the opponent. It usually would trade 2 for 1. Plus dealing damage because of the overwhelm mechanic. So I think the nerf on the damage is warranted talaga.
Okay. So, parang I was thinking na it's good na binabawasan nila for ng one lang. Pero yung health kasi is unaffected eh. So one of the problems is removal of this kind of card from the board. For you, Miggy, enough na ba na binawasan nila yung yung power lang and not even the health?
In a vacuum,
Yeah.
I the card in itself, if we assume that other pieces of the Noxus aggro deck wasn't touched, this nerf, I feel like it isn't enough. Yeah, because it's still, yeah, it still goes 2 for 1. Still goes
Yep.
2 for 1 with a lot of decks, but because of the other nerfs for Noxus,
Mm.
I think I think it's an it's a justifiable nerf. Like
Mm. Yep.
uh, it's enough. It's enough for this to be somewhat at bay.
Mm. Yeah, mamaya down the line makikita naman sobrang daming nerfs para sa Noxus
Yeah.
cards. Yep. Pero, ayan to, sabi ni Trexler here, Trexler23, dapat din health dyan kay Basilisk eh. So, shoutout daw kay kay from Messy Mess, Agro Lord ka daw,
Like
Adel. And,
Yeah, yeah.
Agro Lord eh, no?
I prefer aggro dito sa LOR.
Yeah. But yeah, if you
yeah,
want
for
really
sure, for
fast
sure.
games, di ba? Sometimes napapa-agro din ako eh. Sometimes control, sometimes mid-range. I just like to mix it up. But with this Basilisk Rider, mostly put in a Noxus heavy na aggro deck, it's really a good hit. But for us, I think it's okay na without the health reduction because some of the other cards already hit as well. No, so
Yeah.
you have any other words to say for the for any insights again from Miggy and Adele? Miggy, any final insights for this Basilisk Rider reduction or nerf?
Um. So yeah. I'll just add to my point. Like I think right now, uh, it's it's gonna be the most important threat for Noxus still.
Mm, yeah,
That's why the nerf was not too harsh on it.
yeah,
So that's what I think it's gonna be down the road.
yep. How about you, Adele? Any
Final
final
thoughts
words?
on the card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kagaya ng sabi ng friend namin na si Zero Infinity,
Mm,
this card, Basilisk Rider,
yeah.
make looks bad. Alam mo
Mm,
yun, 5 mana cost si Trash na champion.
mm,
Hindi niya kaya i-trade Basilisk Rider.
mm,
And then, it's still gonna die.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's still a powerful spider. And I agree with what Mickey said na in conjunction with other Noxus, doon naramdaman talaga yung nerf ng deck.
Ramdam talaga, no? So,
Uh,
ramdam na ramdam. Ang dami tayong mga viewers dito na nagsabi ng hashtag Tyrant. Go Tyrants kay Gambit Gmo. Bricksanity LOR is already there. Chris2323 yeah, welcome to the stream. And nakikita nyo naman sa Twitch, di ba mga guys? Kung meron kayong mga gustong sagutin dyan sa mga yan. Also, so we have one here. Trexler says, I think it's hard to survive or kind of struggling at first because if the Allegiance procs with the card, it will be +1 for the card in health too. Yep. So, yun yung sinabi nga kanina nila Miggy at Adele. And, okay, with that, let's move on to the next card. Ito, nako, ginawa na to eh. So, as a backgrounder, in the previous patch, they went from 0 power, 3 cost Braum, then went to 4 cost, 1 power na Braum, and now binalik nila, no, to 0 power, no. So let's start with Mickey the Great. Any thoughts on this change?
I like it. I like it. I'm although the the passive the first time I survived damage summon a mighty Poro
Mm,
still seems uh it seems difficult
Mm.
for an aggro player to overcome this unless they have the right answer
Mm.
in hand right away
Mm.
kay Braum. Because the play pattern for Braum is they challenge and then suddenly take heart, right?
Yes.
So the good thing about this nerf is with the take heart buff, it's just gonna be 3 power. So uh, there are some champions that get killed by
Mm.
the 4 power Braum.
Mm.
Sometimes like uh, Ezreal leveled up,
Mm.
Karma leveled up.
Mm.
Uh, there are some cards that this if the original Braum isn't checked,
Mm.
like it's just straight up gonna dominate the game. But with this 0-5, yeah, it's a little bit mild, but it's still gonna be a challenge for aggro. But at least for the not super fast, the not super fast decks,
Mm.
it's less of a challenge now. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So, how about you naman, Adele? Any thoughts on this change?
For me, I welcome the change, pero parang dito ko na-feel na it's not enough
Yeah.
because yung HP niya ganun pa rin eh. It still acts as unlimited chump blockers,
Mm.
aggro decks,
Mm.
example, scouts or
Mm.
Noxus aggro. Yun lang, hindi na siya makaka-trade into
Yeah.
smaller units like your bird,
Mm. Yung
um,
Omen Hawk. Mm.
your spiders, Omen
Yeah.
Hawk,
Spiders.
you
Yeah.
know. Yun lang yung pinaka-advantage niya. But
Yeah.
overall, it's still a strong card kasi in Braum Anivia decks,
Mm.
people tend to think na Anivia is the superstar eh. But for us, we consider Braum, siya yung nagdadala ng deck.
Mm.
Siya yung nag-help mag-stall sa'yo eh, get to that flipped Anivia level.
Yeah. Actually, ako medyo na-hurt ako dito sa nerf na to kasi yeah, I was looking forward dati to using Braum because of the buff. One attack na one power siya. Tapos nakaka-remove siya ng, as you said, Adele, where you can remove Omen Hawk, um, Dredgers, yung mga small
Yeah.
minions, 'di ba? Like spiders as well. But that takes a hit, no? Na ganito na siya, and it's going to be really it's still a good yung the first time I survived damage sa Mighty Poro, that's still a good buff yung previous. Yung yung ano niya, yung skill niya. Because
Yeah.
syempre,
Yeah.
3-3 pa rin naman yun with Overwhelm. And isama na rin natin to, no? Yan. Syempre, pag nag-level up, siya may +1/+1 eh. So, with this, kasama sa nerf na yan. Anyway, any final thoughts on the nerf of Braum level 1 and level 2? Make it great.
So
Ay, lakas ako daw. Okay.
um, so
Sige, go.
overall, this yung actual stats, the Braum, I'd like to think of it as a 3-8. I'd like to think of it as a 3-8, the actual stats. The same
Mm.
way that when I see Grizzled Ranger, I don't see a
Mm.
3-1 scout. I see a 6-5 card,
Okay.
right? Across 2 bodies. So yeah, the same way that Grizzled Ranger almost always gets to see play
Mm.
in Demasha decks, I think Brown will see a lot of play pa rin in Freljord. Just basta hindi kailangan ng other champs like Ash, Sedge, ganun. Like, for example,
Mm.
I saw new decks on the rise, like uh, the buff pure Freljord buff deck,
Mm-hmm.
like meron yung Scar Mother ba yan? Yung 3-8
Oh.
na 5 cost.
Oh,
Like
Scarmother.
puro overwhelm and then
Mm.
just buff. Yeah, Bram's still a fit there. Like
Mm.
this this nerf doesn't Brown superstar level. Parang hindi na siya superstar level, but uh, this nerf is not enough for him to stay out of the meta.
Oo. Yeah, kasi may take heart pa rin naman. Di ba?
Yeah.
So, how about you? Final words, Adele, for this nerf.
I agree. Playable card. Probably in other variations.
Hmm.
Braum, Braum Vladimir.
Hmm.
Could be a new archetype.
Hmm.
Um, and then, like what Miggy said, no, look at it as a 4 mana, uh, 3/8,
Hmm.
which is, in terms of trading card game uh, value, it's still a lot. So, ganun mo siya tignan, 4 mana, 3/8.
No,
So,
kasi,
it's still a very good card.
kasi may kasama, di ba, yung Poro, no? Kaya,
3/3.
ganun. Yeah, it takes a hit talaga. So, actually, paggagamitin ko pa rin naman. Kasi maganda pa rin siyang defensive piece para sa akin. And also, yung regeneration eh. So, I like that. I like the mechanic as well. Pero, well, kailangan mangyari yan. And let's see how the players adjust. And with that, let's move on to the next card. Ito na. Sakit nito. Sakit. Takit. Okay, so let's Crimson Disciple. Old text: when I survive damage, deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus. But now, when I survive damage, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. Nako. Kamusta na yung yung grenadier, yung demolitionist natin diyan. Anyway, first insight, Adele.
Ako, being an aggro player talagang, ito yung masakit, pero I'm not surprised,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's also about time to make changes. I think Riot has made it clear, no, na they don't want a super fast meta.
Mm-mm.
Yung parang hirap na hirap ka mag-react, and the pressure is always like in your face, no?
Mm.
So, malaki yung effect nito. People might think na 1 damage lang, kaya pa rin eh. But in terms of, parang exponential return, imagine yung ping with demolition is just 3 damage. So,
Imbis na
yeah,
4, no?
it's gonna affect the card. Malaking bagay yun. When you're playing aggro, di ba, you're always
Yeah.
on a clock.
Yeah.
Malaking bagay yung 1 damage.
Yeah, ano talaga, para mabilis ka mawala ng gas, every damage counts. Ganun talaga. For Miggy the Great naman, any insights on this change?
Yeah. So I kind of spammed the Darrowing deck in ladder, and ang daling kapusin without the Crimson Disciple. So what more ngayon? Madalas kasi sakto-sakto lang yung mga yung damage eh. Parang bihira yung mag negative 4 siya after your last hit, ganun. So with this, yan, medyo mahirapan. Parang before, ang kinakabahan kapag kalaban ng Noxus yung nasa other side. But right now, I think yung Noxus yung mas kakabahan ngayon eh. Like, if they have Crimson Disciple in play, mas kakabahan sila na they might run out of gas quick.
That's right. And actually, I'll put in one more insight, no. This nerf actually has another consequence with for example, in case Swain, it's not going to be easier to finish that requirement for Swain to level up. So, diba? What do you think about that, Miggy?
The Swain deck?
Diba 12 siya to
with
finish?
regards to Swain, I don't think it's that significant. The mas significant talaga siya for me sa aggressive setup than the Swain setup, because in Swain the important cards that level up Swain are Noxian Fervor and what else is that? The 1 mana Ravenous Flock. Yeah,
Ravenous
one
Lock, yeah.
mana 4
Mm.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those cards alone,
Mm.
they already have 10 damage. So with Crimson either for Crimson with Demolitionist,
Yeah.
even with the Nerf, with the setup I mentioned earlier,
Mm.
it's still gonna level up. Swain's still gonna level up.
Okay. So madali lang, no?
So,
Madali pa rin.
mm,
Ikaw, let's start with final words for this card, Adele.
I'm a sad guy,
Mm.
but we move on and take it like a champ.
Mhm.
yeah.
How about you,
And
Miggy?
I don't think
Yeah,
loses
go. Go on.
playability. It's
Yeah.
still gonna be there.
Okay.
I still believe na it's still a solid 2 drop, you know. So it's still gonna be there in the meta.
Yeah, solid talaga, no? Pag binawasan nila ng 1 health, alaman na talaga ako. Kasi 2-3 is actually good. That's a good body for a 2-cost card. Yung isang 2-3 lang nakita ko na na maganda is yung 2-3 na 3-cost which is yung elusive. Pero, yan. Anyway, how about you, Miggy the Great? Do you have any final words for this card?
Well, as a guy who plays whatever's in the meta, I love it. I love it because whenever I play like control strategies, and sometimes I have for example, Culling Strike. I have Culling Strike, and then I see Crimson Disciple on turn 2. Sometimes I'm like, sige, wag muna, save natin, mana natin. Tapos bilang boom, 4 damage dahil kay Imperial Demolitionist.
Oh, yeah.
Man, feels so bad. Like, right now, 3 damage, it still hurts, but you're not that punished for those kinds of plays now.
Okay. So before you move on to the next card, tingnan natin yung mga comments of the other chatters right here. Sabi ni Trexler, that breaks my heart. Yan. Delubio X, good for me since I'm not an aggro player. 1 Crimson plus 2 Diminution is equal 8 agad. Actually, no? 8 talaga siya. Parang Crimson plus Demolition is equals 1 Decimate. Anyway,
yeah, actually.
Yeah, diba? They should, iba na tong, ibang format yung gusto nila. Anyway, moving on to the next card. Let's go. Nako, sakit nito.
Ooh.
Para sa mga nangingitlog dyan, mahilig sa itlog, sa ating manok. Favorite champion na after the last patch, Agnivia's egg form is from 2 to 1 health. Nako. So let's start first with Miggy the Great. Miggy the Great, what are your insights on this change?
It's so much more fragile now, so it's not an easy win once you get to 10 mana now. Before 0-2, there's not a lot of cards that can deal with the 2 health, but now 1, there's so many removal spells that can deal with it. So it's not an auto win anymore.
Yeah, laking hit, no? How about you, Adele?
Binabasa ko yung comment ng balot to quail egg real quick. Actually, ito yung mga nerf na if some people would think about it, parang 1 health, okay lang yun, hindi naman ganun kalaking deal. Pero I think this change will push it out of the playability level. Yun nga, ang daming cards na makaka-deal dito. Isipin mo ba, may Anivia tapos nag-make it rain.
Dami, no?
Dami makaka-deal sa kanya. Withering Whale.
Dati kasi, it was after you kill Anivia, you either use Grasp, you can use Avalanche, you can use yung 3-cost ng Noxus, deal 2 damage, mga ganon. Pero ngayon, Vile Feast, Withering Whale, ano pa ba, Make It Rain, sabi nyo nga. Pero pa nga yung isang, yung hindi ko masyadong ginagamit na deal 1 damage to all enemies.
Oh, yeah.
Diba? May ganon, diba? Na card. Anyway. Sakit. Para sa mga Bromnivias dyan, dalawa. Sige. Oh, final words, Adele, for this change.
Final words, I think, overall yung deck from Class S na deck,
Mm.
Bromanivia, it's gonna
Yeah.
go down to maybe like B
Yeah.
rating or even
Mm-hmm.
lower.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna push it out of the competitive playability.
Mm.
But people will adjust. I think with the slower meta, we might see still Shadow Isles Fair Lord, but with
Mm.
just difference.
No, wala ka, Adele. Hello?
Ayun.
Andiyan.
Hello, hello.
Okay. Oh, ayan. So what you were
Ayun.
saying regarding the
Uh,
other regions?
I think yung Shadow Isle Fair Lord will still be there, but different siya. Probably will see a War Mother control
Yo.
come back in the meta.
Mm. Anyway, so for you, Miggy, any other final words for this?
I just saw Zero Infinity's comment.
Ah,
Ignite gets cleared by a toothpick. Yeah,
di ba?
it's
Grabe.
true. But like,
Sakit.
maybe if if Bramnivia is still to be a contender in the meta,
Mm.
maybe the harrowing,
Yeah.
maybe the harrowing is the go-to card.
Yeah.
Like push to 2 copies, 3 copies, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how you can rely on just getting uh, multiple X alone.
Yeah.
It's so unreliable now.
Mhm.
But yeah, maybe harrowing can still carry the deck. I don't know.
Yeah. Pero yung do you have that Ionia card that duplicates them with ephemeral copies? Magamit ba kayo niyan
Oh,
for the Anivia?
I haven't tried. I haven't tried.
Di ba? Pwede mo siyang gawin. Kunyari, your turn, duplicate it, tatlong Anivia, so tatlong 2-2, tatlong 2 damage, kung di 6. Tapos pag namatay sila, maging itlog, ma-revive ulit the next turn. Pero, yeah. Ganoon na ako, pag nag-meme lang ako, titry ko lang yung minsan. But mostly people
Yeah,
use,
it's a meme. I think it's a meme.
di ba? Mostly people use Shadow Isles, the Freljord combination. But that's it.
Mm.
Yan. Mula Tokneneng, naging kwek-kwek. Yan. So, let's move on to the next card. Flash of Brilliance. Ito. Sakit ito. Wala nang mana pooling, no? Na nangyayari dahil dito. Dahil dito sa nerf na to. But first, I think yung huli natin si Miggy. Let's go to Adele first, no? What are your thoughts on this change?
My thoughts on this is like this change is huge. Parang Heimer was hit with multiple nerf. Ako, I would prefer na parang pili ka lang ng isa. Parang talagang tinatouch siya eh. So, I think medyo hindi na ganun ka-playable tong card na to unless may bagong archetype na mag-pop out. Which I'll save that discussion later on for the Heimer card.
Yep. So, well, mamaya, makita natin yung mamaya. Alphabetical naman to eh, so baka next. How about you, Miggy? Any insights into this change?
So, kuha ako from Zombieland, yung isa na lang principle dun, which is double tap, right?
Mhm.
If you want something to get killed, double tap.
Uh,
So ito, yung Weimer deck na nerf na nga yung Flash of Brilliance, tapos nirework pa si Heimer. Ayan, double tap. Bang, Weimer's dead.
dead na kagad. Bilis, no?
Yeah. But like, ako, personally, like, siguro June pa ata, June or baka May pa nga ata, may mga nakakausap na ako about this Flash of Brilliance. And for me, like, merong mga what ifs. Like, what if instead of first, ginawa na lang fast.
Fast.
That way you can actually respond
Yeah.
to the Weimer before So hindi siya as free as before,
Mm.
right? Yung
Mm.
3-3-1 turret.
Yeah.
So I mean, this this nerf has
Mm.
been parang it's been in discussion for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see it, but I was surprised to see both the nerfs of Flash and Heimer. Yun.
Yeah. I was actually thinking din, no, Miggy, isa lang yung gagawin nilang rework. Maybe yung supporting cards na nerf, no, for maybe Flash of Brilliance. Kasi syempre, or change it nga to fast to make it parang pwede ka pa mag-react doon sa gagawin niya. Pero, yeah, I think a lot of people have been pissed off by the Heimer combo. And when you see your opponent pulling their cards before pulling their mana before turn 5, before putting down the how do you say this, yung Heimer nila, alam mo na ito na gagawin niya, 'di ba? Parang medyo alam mo na mangyayari ito eh. Ngayon, hindi na siya mangyayari kasi yung pwede mo lang na i-pull is 3 mana and it's over this 4 mana cost, so kailangan mo na siya i-gawin sa probably turn 6, 'di ba? Instead of turn 5. But yeah, any final words, Miggy, for this card?
Uh, it was nice playing with it.
Parang
I
mapakanta ka.
mean, Vi-
Yeah.
Vimer hasn't really been played in the meta. I
Hmm.
haven't seen it in a while, so I was surprised at the timing din of the nerf Flash of Brilliance. So I don't know. Maybe it's a North America thing. Maybe there's a different meta in other regions.
Yeah. How about you, Adele? Um, any final
I
words for the
felt
Flash
like
of Brilliance?
I felt like Riot attacked it on the parang wrong side.
Hmm.
Alam mo yun, mali yung pagka-nerf. I agree na pwede mo i-nerf yung card, but not not the cost. I think ang nireklamo naman tao is yung parang
Hmm.
lack of intention with Heimer. Parang siya lang yung gumagalaw,
Hmm.
yung Flash of Brilliance niya,
Yeah.
tapos Twin Disciples na si Heimer.
Mm-hmm.
With this, kung yun yung reklamo ng tao, sana ginawa mo na lang fast
Oo nga.
yung spell.
Mm.
Diba?
Yeah.
So yun yung final thoughts ko on that one.
Sayang.
Also,
Anyway.
can I take pee break?
Okay, sure. So, while nag-pee break si Adele, let's mention some of the other guys who are in here. Thank you to Zero Infinity, Trexler, George Perio, DWX, Obsequium, Break Sanity, Chris 2323, 2, Obsequium. Okay. Dami dito, no? Tapos, again, RIP or Rest in Peace, Vimer. Haha, ako lang ang full name. Ito, madami daw.
I remember before patch 1.4, like
Oo.
I was joking around. Vimer, mark safe cross there. Then 2 patches later, sabi nga Zero Infinity triple tap pa kasi
Triple tap.
even the solitary monk got
Oo nga.
nerfed.
Si yung monk
Like
niya.
patch 1.5. Patch 1.5 and got nerfed.
From 4 to 3, di ba? Tama ba? 4 to 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad. Anyway, let's go on to the next card. Ito, paborito to ni Adele, for sure. Legion Grenadier, health 1 to 2, last breath, deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus. Ngayon, last breath, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. Yan na naman eh. Piso-piso binabawas nila eh. You first, Adele.
Dito naman sa Legionnaire, ito medyo okay lang kasi they nerfed it on the damage side, nag-damage the Nexus side. Pero at least binuff nila yung puwet.
Yeah.
So, it's a 2 mana 3/2. Ako okay lang ako dito sa nerf na to. So, yun yung magandang klase ng nerf eh. Parang nerf mo may so I like what Riot did with this card.
How about you, Miggy? What are your insights in this nerf and the rework on its health?
Um, ang naiisip ko is if the current look of narrowing isn't gonna change and it's still in the meta,
Mm.
like harrowing turns
Mm.
on your, that's not on your attack turn.
Mm.
It's not gonna be that easy to pull it off because before the patch, you can, let's say for example you had two Legion Grenadiers that died. Okay, so you already dealt minimum 4 damage to the Nexus. But and then you get harrowing and you get those two grenadiers back. So that's
Mm.
another 4 damage once they
Mm.
die. Uh, yeah, now you're not gonna have that degenerate turn. So I like this nerf. I like this.
Yep. Actually, right, like it as Adele said. No, it's going to be instead of one na lang yung health niya, it's going to be two. So it's going to have the more survivability in your board. Pero yung nerf niya is mostly on the last breath. Will instead deal 1 damage. And yeah, okay naman. The balance naman. -1 + 1 sa ano niya. Sa abilities niya, let's say. Any final words for this card? Miggy?
Mm, like going back earlier to what Adele said about Arena Booking, Arena Book can replace this. I think.
Hmm.
I think Arena Booking can replace this, especially since uh, the Noxus aggro decks run Draven naman. So the spinning axe plus Bookie synergy still works.
Yep. How about you, Adele? Any final words?
Yeah, actually, may mga nagsabi na medyo ba talaga siya. And to some extent, I would agree. Kasi maraming situations when you're playing Noctus Agro, di ba? Na
Hmm.
puro yung health ng minions mo, 1 lang. Kumbawa, example, 1, then Grenadier on turn 2.
Hmm.
On your turn 3, meron kang Demolition. So, di ba pag ganun hindi mo mapiping, parang sayang.
Yeah.
But with this, you can ping the Grenadier
Yeah.
with now. So, I welcome the change.
Yep. Good body na rin para sa mga 1-1, no? Kung gusto, kung gusto mong i-block yun. Depende sa'yo. Anyway, let's move on to the next card. Ito na. Okay. Ako muna,
Oh,
ha? Ako muna. Heimerdinger, 3 mana spells now create an MK3 Apex Spirit, 3/1 Fearsome. Previously, the 4 mana turret keyword. 4 mana spells now create an MK4 Storm Lobber, 4/1 Overwhelm. Previously, 6 mana turret keyword. 6 mana spells now create the MK6. Floor Begone, 6/1 Elusive. So, yung Elusive nandun na sa 6 mana cost. Para mas makita ng mga viewers natin ito. Yan. There you go. So, let's start with Miggy the Great. What are your thoughts on this change?
so ayun, aside from the double tap, uh, since it's 6 mana,
Yeah.
the elusive is now 6 mana. Maybe the deck instead of Heimer Vi, maybe the deck should be Lux Heimer, right?
Mm.
Because Lux cares about 6+ cost
Mm-hmm.
spells, and
Yeah.
yeah, the best turret here right now on the screen is 6 cost now,
Mm-hmm.
the episode one. So that may be a viable deck, the Heimer Lux.
How about you, Adele? Any insights on this change?
So, yun nga, kagaya ng sabi ko, I think what Riot is trying to say that we only want one variation of Pina, and we want that to be Karma Ezreal.
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to move away from Heimer Vi,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the new archetype that will be born would be Heimerlux. Meron na mga before Heimerlux, and hindi siya masyado naging competitive, no? But I think this change is the one that will, push that archetype into the meta.
Mm.
Lalo na nagsuslow down Yun naman yung problema ng Heimerlux Hindi siya makadeal with pressure enough.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be viable. Heimerlux nga din yung nakikita kong bagong
Heimerlux,
archetype.
no?
So if you
parang,
see ilang cards talaga, this 1.6 talagang Heimer talaga yung pinukpok nila Cards Nerf. If I'm not mistaken. 5 cards sa Heimer Vibe deck yung na-nerf.
I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, guys. So pwede pa rin naman, di ba? Magbabaka pa rin ng 3. Hindi, wala na pala. Inisip ko kasi yung Flash of Brilliance 3. Pero
wala na daw.
grabe. Inisip ko pwede pa Hindi pa rin. Hindi pa rin kasi for you to do the actual yung ginagawa ni Heimer dati, you would need 1 mana extra for each Flash of Brilliance. So talaga hindi na lang magagawa yung paulit-ulit Yeah, wala talaga. Okay. Laking tama talaga. Pero yeah, those insights on getting how do you say this, a new champion compatible with Heimer would actually be a possible way to kumbaga adapt with this kind of change. Yung Lux nga kasi baka magkaroon siya ng final beam, tama ba? Yung final spark na ma-activate with the 6 cost spells. Yeah. So pwede. How about you? Any final words, Adele?
So I think yung mga changes na ginagawa nila is to force people to play into this archetype. Tinan mo yung Flash of 8 mana spell. And 6 mana spell favors Lux. So I think really that's the direction that Riot is going into. So we could say that this is not a nerf, just a change in the region combinations that they want for Heimer.
Yeah. How about you, Miggy?
I was actually looking at the comments stream. They
Go.
also mentioned yung Poros plus Heimer.
Yeah, pwede.
Aurora
Actually.
Borealis.
Yeah.
I've been seeing some variations already, but I thought they were memes. Pero baka right now it can actually work. Yeah.
Pwede siya. Di ba Poros Nax is a burst?
Yeah, burst.
Burst
burst.
siya. Yung Borealis is
Burst din
slow?
yun. Yeah.
Slow ba yun? Burst. Burst ba yun?
Right? Wait.
Yeah. First
Burst din siya.
Yeah, it's also burst.
Yeah. Yan Pero, yeah, pwede, actually. Try nyo. Try nyo. Sige. Mag-ano muna kayo, mag-normal matches muna kayo. Check yung mag-work. Pero, inisip ko kasi parang, may okay, madaming minions sila lalabas, madaming tokens. For example, you would not just have the Poros, you would also have the turrets. Yep. Tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari. So with that, let's close this Nerf, or rather triple tap on the Heimer combination, and let's move on to the next card. Ito, hindi ko lang kung maramdaman ko dito. Hindi ko nagamit ito Hunting Fleet. Cost from 5 to 4. Power from 7 to 6. Health from 76. So, mura siya, no? For 6/6 na magsasamon ka ng Golden Narwhal. So, in combination, pagsama natin dalawang card, yung Narwhal, 3 to 2, and then 4 to 3 yung health. At 3 to 2 yung cost, 4 to 3 yung health. So, before we review these changes with these 2 cards, kasi connected sila I'm thinking yung 4 cost na pinakamalaki na lang ko yung Crocolis, tama ba? Yung 7/7. Asauro. Yeah, Crocolis yata. 7/7. na kailangan pumatay ng dalawang minion. Or, yeah, tama, dalawang cards. Anyway, so, let's start with Miggy the Great with his insights on these changes.
At first glance, like
Mm.
before I heard any insight about this, like I thought this was just, I don't know, some adjustment for expeditions. Like I didn't see the implication for for ladder or for rank for this card. But yeah, since you mentioned the other four drops that this would be facing, yeah, it's not gonna trade with any four drop, especially since na-nerf din yung Basilisk Rider. So
Yeah.
maybe it has maybe there's a deck for it. Maybe.
Mm-mm. Pero pag tumama siya dito, no, Miggy, di ba? Tinama mo siya dyan, patay mo. Matitira sa kanya is 6-4.
Or
Yeah.
it's for-
So, it's the new Basilisk Rider.
Basilisk Rider without the overwhelm.
Di ba? It's the new one. Pero let's move on to Adele. What are your insights on this?
It has potential, but at the moment, medyo skeptical pa rin ako about the strength of this card. Kasi imagine this scenario, no? You dropped it, and then na-recall siya, like Will of Ionia.
Mm.
So, pero binigyan mo ng free 2-3 yung kalaban mo, na elusive.
Mm.
Yung mga ganong situation na iniisip ko eh.
Mm.
And then when you play it again, you give your opponent another 2-3. So instead of the tempo swinging to your favor, it goes the other way around.
Mm.
Yun naman ata yung ano ng deck, card na to eh, parang purpose niya is to give you tempo.
Mm.
But mas maraming other cards na tempo oriented eh.
Mm.
For example, yung Avarosan Trapper.
Mm.
Nagbibigay siya sa'yo ng 1 mana 5/5.
5-5.
I
Yeah.
take that over 4 mana 6/6 with this drawback anytime, any day.
Yeah, parang was thinking that the 2-3 would actually be a problem for players who won't be able to counter it after kunyari hindi mo ginamit yung vulnerable niya. For example, I don't know what case would or what situation you would do that, pero if it does get recalled, this one, yan, yung hunting fleet, yeah, it's gonna be a problem kasi if your elusive will be blocked by your units if they don't have elusive themselves. So that's a good point. Pero mamaya makikita mo why that point will be adjusted as well. Kasi meron pa isa pang adjustments to that to one portion of your point. And Miggy, final words for this nerf, for this change, to the hunting fleet.
There might be some applications with quick attack,
Yeah, quick attack.
quick attack units. So if you have like the couple, si Lucian Senna,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Like, if you put this in a Lucian deck, maybe it has legs.
Yeah.
Like, turn to Lucian, then turn for this, then attack Lucian. Makes use of the vulnerable for the 2-3. Yeah, that's a very big tempo swing, I think.
So how about you, Adele? Any final words for this change or these changes sa dalawang cards na to?
For me, it's gonna be similar to yung mga other change ni Riot with other cards na parang i-change it and then so what? Parang yung J Medarda. Parang hindi rin naman siya nagkaroon ng playability eh.
Mm.
If you're gonna put it in a scout deck, it's competing with other really good 4 drops eh.
Yeah.
You have Grizzled Ranger, the Navori Scout,
Hmm.
tama ba? Oo. So, I'd rather have those cards rather than the Hunting Fleet.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't really
So,
actually use this. Parang walang, meh. Meh. I wonder why they targeted this, no? So it's probably something down the line. Probably for the next upcoming cards, pero we're not seeing it right
maybe,
now.
maybe.
Yeah, good point, Miggy, that it can be removed by something with quick attack, no? And gano'n din sinabi yung sa, I think, Zero Infinity here. Siguro something like Lucian Sen na bangka pwede mo yung clear without a trade. Yeah. So,
Oh,
gano'n talaga.
okay.
Galing. Pero, let's move on to the next
Simple.
card. Tama na tayo dyan. Tama na yan. Ito. I've seen this sa mga scout deck. Relentless Pursuit from fast to slow. Wow. Laking change na sa tempo. Anyway, it's now slow. So, yung ginagawa nito is it gives you rally on which you can attack. You can have an attack token on your side of the board. So, let's start with Miggy the Great. What are your insights on this card?
Mm, it's nice. It's nice because um, it's parang sobrang laki ng strain for the player on the other side to simultaneously play around combat tricks as well as the rally.
Hmm.
So if during the combat, during the attack, you
Hmm.
only care about like riposte or
Hmm.
back to back, those cards or Rangers Assault, then you're gonna have an easier time to align your blockers. But when you keep on thinking, what if may rally? What if may rally?
Hmm.
It's uh, sobrang dami mong iniisip na you don't know which one's the correct play. Like sobrang high level na.
Hmm.
Yun. Medyo pinapadali lang yung game for non-rally decks, I think.
So, parang,
Which is
tama
a
ba pag
welcome
ko?
change.
Parang, for the people contesting the guy that's going to use this, mas madadalian sila. Tama ba?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Adele, what are your insights regarding this change?
Bago ako mag-proceed doon, comment sa Brick Sanity. Sabi niya, rally pero mabagal. So, sabi mo, precision na lang. Well,
Ano?
actually, malakas nga yung card eh,
Mm.
nung fast siya.
Mm.
So, I think yung implication nito would be on lower levels of play, yung mga medyo casual lang or low rank, hindi
Mm.
ganun kalaking effect niya. Pero kung compare sa Diamond up tournament and tournaments,
Mm.
malaki yung effect niya kasi usually sinisingit mo yung rally pag nag-overcommit na ng mana yung kalaban mo eh.
Yeah, that's right.
Ngayon, you can't do that. It's always after the fact nung combat na yun. So, yeah, this is a big change. This is a big
Yeah.
change.
And with that, no, hindi ko na sinama dito, no. Kasama na rin yung I think kay Lucian, tama ba?
Yeah, Lucian spell.
Lucian. Lucian's Relentless Pursuit. Relentless Pursuit. Yeah. So, same pa rin. So, yeah. Final words, Adele, with this change.
Yun, I think Scout is still gonna be strong in this meta. Of course, hindi natatanggalin yung card na yan eh. It's a must-have in their decks. They would have to adjust really the timing ng paglabas ng card na to.
How about you, Miggy? Any final words?
Yeah, agree with Adele. Scouts is still gonna be here, right? So, parang tinanggal lang yung auto win potential when you tawag dito? when you, yun, sabi rin ni Zero Infinity, when you play a slow spell, tapos nag-in response Relentless Pursuit, wala na yung sobrang panggulat na, oh, I lose. Ganun. So, yeah, it's a nice change.
Okay. So, yep. I think this is a nice change. Effectively, quote unquote, slowing down those rally decks, no? Um, yeah. It takes a hit and also gives a chance to the receiving player to react to
Yeah.
that strategy right there. And with that, let's move on. Let's move on to the next card. The River Shaper. Health from 1 to 2. So in River Shaper, strike, draw a spell. Yeah. So let's start with the Adele first. What are your thoughts on this card?
Mm. So this was actually one of the cards na pinag-usapan namin this afternoon with my team. I think now gonna be a choice, no, between the other card that we'll talk about later, Shadow Assassin, or this one. Medyo similar sila ng ginagawa eh. So pipili ka lang ng elusive na maliit yung body, or this one, uh, 2-2. So, change kasi yung unang ang version
Mm.
ito talagang parang unplayable eh.
That's
3
right.
mana, 2-1.
Mm.
It's,
Pangit.
it- it's a trash card. Sorry for the term, but it's a trash card for this change. With this change, yun, you have that option.
Mm.
Para to yung nung pinalitan yung Badger Bear,
Mm.
3 mana, 3-4.
Mm.
So ngayon, pipili ka na what you're gonna put in your deck. Badger Bear or the Laurent Protege, yung 3 mana, 2-4 with Challenger. So I think it does the same for Ionia decks.
Okay. How about you, Miggy? What are your thoughts on this change?
When I saw it in the patch notes,
Hmm.
insta ignore because I hate Ionia. That's it.
So, di ba
I hate
ginagamit?
Ionia.
Miggy, would you like to share with them na ano yung nickname mo sa sa Tyrants group?
Yeah, so in our Discord,
Yeah.
I changed my nickname to Bobo Magayonia because uh, I really don't know how to play.
Oh. Sabi ni Obsikiam, Bobo mag-ayaw niya for the win. Pero I think it's a good how do you say this, buff towards the health. Kasi nung nakita ko ito, I saw it's a cycle card, 2-1. Pa-problem nga lang is yung 1 health. So I would not play this at 3 cost kasi nga basura eh. Pero I would rather play something that would cycle na sure na rather than this. Pero yan, anyway. So final words. Kay ano na lang, kay Adel na lang kasi ano ayaw mo mag-ayaw niya eh, Miggy.
No comment si Bobo Magayonia.
Adel, any final words?
For me, pumapasok na siya sa it's an okay card. From being a trash card to an okay card. But, wala pa rin siya dun sa, oh, this is a nice card, it's a must include in my decks.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's not really a, how do you say this, a must-have, but I can use it. Not necessarily yung previous version niya na I will never use it. No? So,
Yeah.
So it's just a small change to a possibility and not necessarily a big hell no. Okay? So let's move on to the next card. Ayan, sakit nito.
Yeah.
Shadow Assassin. No? Assassin nga pero 1 damage lang, no? From 2 to 1. Elusive, when I'm summoned, draw 1. So, any thoughts? Kahit na AO niya, Mickey the Great.
Ito, kasi, ano naman, pag trinap mo naman siya, hindi ka naman masyado mag-iisip. So, ayun. elusive decks, the aggressive elusive decks might not be decks anymore. But for control,
Hmm.
I think it's still viable. It's still viable because like yeah, compared to River Shaper,
Hmm.
guaranteed yung draw one eh.
Hmm.
Guaranteed yung draw one niya. So
Hmm.
you get at first a top blocker and a new card. So it's still fine. It's still fine.
Oh,
Parang ang tingin ko dito is the aggressive elusive deck just
yeah.
slowed down. Like they just have to look for another unit maybe.
Yeah. Oo nga eh. Um, I'm thinking yung 2-3 na elusive na Piltover and Zon. Meron yun eh. Pero I was thinking
Right, right.
elusive na the ability to draw one is actually the added value here. But let's move on to the insights of Adele. Adele, what can you say?
Medyo nagulat rin ako sa change nito eh. I was like, why? Parang na-nerf na yung dynamic duo na elusive, which is yung solitary monk, tapos ito. Sila yung parang duo for me, na talagang nagpo-push ng damage. Ayaw niya decks. So, tama si Migi, it's still in control decks, particularly Karma Ezreal.
Hmm.
But it will have a significant effect, believe me. Kasi when you're playing Karma Ezreal, di ba, parang ito yung chip ng damage para
Hmm.
pumasok yung HP ng enemy nexus into the combo level na parang hindi na siya as real.
Hmm.
So this will definitely affect the speed at which Karma Ezreal can kill you.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest change as well. And then sabi na ano naman si Riot talagang outspoken naman yung sinabi na we want to nerf elusives.
Hmm.
So I think this is the direct address to that
Yeah.
to that call to nerf aggro elusive.
Oh well. Good talaga eh. Anyway, big nerf to the damage, pero again, as I said, para sa akin yung value nito is the draw one. Tapos pag meron pa yung pag binalik mo siya, 'di ba, with the 2 cost, ano ba yun? Yung 2 cost na fast
Retreat.
retreat, yan.
Retreat.
Oh, yun yung value niya para sa akin
Yeah.
as a card. Kasi pwede mo siya ibalik, tapos mag-draw ulit siya ng isa pa. Yun. Anyway. So, final words, Miggy, for this card. This change.
Yeah, so yan, di ko nga pala na-realize yung implication nito. You're gonna have to uh, save up more on your burn spells because yung damage is nabawasan ng konti. But
Hmm.
yeah, I still think this is gonna see play in control decks. So ano lang, elusive decks na talaga yung matamaan ng todo dito.
Hmm. Okay. Adele, final words for this change.
Final words, I think baka kailangan i-rename na yung Shadow Cutie.
Hmm.
Assassin, 1 damage, doesn't make sense, dude.
Hmm. Parang ano yun, no? Shadow Debutant. Na yun lang. Ganun na pwede magano. Kasi tingin mo naman, hindi mo assassin yun. Anyway.
Cute na ng damage eh.
So, di ba? 1 damage. And with that, let's move on to the next round. Or the next card. Ito tayo. Steel Tempest. Cost from 3 to 2. No? Stun an attacking enemy. So basically, it's if you know Riptide, 4 costs, stun an attacking enemy. Diba? Parang ganun na siya, pero mas malakas. Mas mas mura. This also goes to the Yasuo, Steel Tempest. No? So it's still the same. It has been buffed because of the decrease in cost. Let's start with Adele. What are your insights into this card?
I think this is a good change kasi nga medyo underwhelming and underplayed si Yasuo eh. So, with this, I think viable na ulit mag-Yasuo.
Yeah.
Primarily, not because primarily of this card, but primarily because of Noxus, which is
Mm.
yung hinder eh for Yasuo decks to shine.
Mm.
So yeah, I think we will see more Yasuo variations. You have your Yasuo Katarina,
Yeah.
Yasuo Swain. So we'll see more of this card.
Oo nga. How about you, Miggy? Insights into this card.
Um, so, sabi dito sa patch notes, tungkol dito sa Steel Tempest,
Mm.
sabi niya, they want to make Tempest a more appealing option for control and stun-based Ionia decks. So,
Mm.
ayun, yung Yasuo stun-based control. Yeah, I agree, this is a nice change
Mm.
para naman gumanda yung play rate niya. Pero in terms of making this a more appealing option for control, like uh, your play pairing Ionia with PNZ, it's, I think, ano pa rin eh, concussive pound pa rin eh.
Oh, yeah.
Concussive pound pa rin yung for this. So, I don't know. To me,
Mm.
I'm not I'm not a good Ionia player, but even if I'm not,
Sabi mo nga.
I'm I'm still not I'm still not attracted into playing this.
Okay. So, pero ako inisip ko, Ionia player ako for a while with the Karma Ezreal. Like, inisip ko, pwede mo pa rin siya gamitin kasi na-nerf siya. Na-buff siya. Aside from Concussive Palm. Yung Concussive Palm kasi may body siya na 3-2, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Pero, it would add to the, how do you say this? To the ticker ng Ezreal. Kasi targeting pa rin siya, di ba? So, parang, it would still be a viable option para sa akin. Pero, ayun, sabi mga Miggy, mas maganda yung concussive palm para sa'yo. Pero, let's look at the final words of Adele.
Ako, sabi lang makita na naka-include to sa decks as the spell itself.
Yeah.
Ang use ito mostly is if you have already Yasuo in play.
Yeah.
And then you have another Yasuo on hand. So, mag-transform to this spell. So, dun ko lang siya nakikita na you could take advantage of that. But otherwise, I share Miguel's thoughts na you would rather have Concussive Palm than this one. Kasi nga, it gives you a good body.
Yeah. So, yan. Yung final words natin mga players natin dito. And with that, let's move on to the next card. Ito, Sump Dredger. Cost from 2 to 3 to play me, discard 1, yung old. New text to play me, discard 1, and draw 1. So, 4-3 pa rin siya, pero 3 cost na siya ngayon. Pero at meron siyang additional na draw 1. Start with Miggy the Great. What do you think about this card?
This effect's too good. It's too good. If you pair this with Arena Pokey and another one, there's another card like this, which was reworked to exactly this mechanic.
Urchin.
Later on, season yeah.
Yeah.
And the value is just too good. Even control decks can use this, not just the discard decks. There's so much card velocity with it.
Mm-mm.
You don't really lose a card.
Yeah.
You have the potential to actually do the Chump Womps Mushroom Clouds.
Yeah.
So it's too good. I think it's gonna see a lot of play. This mechanic is gonna see a lot of play.
Okay, so let's move to Adele's insight. Thank you, Mickey.
Yeah, I think this is a great change for the card. Nung una nagbabrowse ako ng mga collection ko, ano na to? Ang pangit naman ito.
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice stats, pero just discard one. Pero with this na parang you get your card back, a really good mechanic. Yun nga, ang daming PNZ cards na that gives you the effect still kahit i-discard mo. So I think the Riot really made the discard archetype stronger. So we'll have to see it if yung discard aggro na Draven Jinx ba yung magiging bagong cancer ladder.
Mm. Hindi na burn aggro lang na with the disciples, with the Crimson Gang.
Oo. Yeah. Pwede maging itong variation na to.
Yeah. Okay. So inisip ko, I did put this dati sa Jinx deck ko, pero tinanggal ko rin kasi ang pangit, no? Pero with this addition, it would actually be a good cycler, no? Along with the arena bookie. Pero yeah, it looks good. Looks good. Down to 2 more cards. So let's move on to the next card. Ito. Yeah, bigyan ng jacket. Will of Ionia. Yeah. From 4 to 5. Nasakit nito. Actually, good na ako sa 4 sa kanya eh. Pero ginawa pa nilang 5. Pero, how about you, Miggy the Great? What are your insights on this card?
Maybe it's Riot's way of saying we want more mid-range decks, we want more slow decks, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Because I came from Magic, right? And it's not necessary that the most principles of Magic are also correct here. But like looking back sa Magic, there's this card called Unsummon. It's a blue card. It only costs 1 mana. And it's exactly what Will of Ionia does for just 1 mana. So, I don't know. I don't get why they had to do this.
Yeah. How about you, Adele? An Ionia, as an Ionia user, what do you think about this nerf?
Well, hindi rin naman ako hardcore Ionia user, if parang i-rate ko yung capability ko sa Ionia player, hindi siya 10 out of 10 eh.
Parang hugas kamay. Yeah.
Pero yun, baka kasi makatapat nila ako sa rank, tas Ionia, tapos matalo. May mga sabihin sila eh.
Okay. Sige.
Going to the card, I think yun nga, this patch really parang hard nerf talaga sa Ionia. Staple na nerf. I think they're looking at it in the tournament setting, particularly in the hyper competitive format, yung 3 decks 1 ban.
Yeah.
What's happening kasi usually in Bilgewater, Duels of Frontera, ganun tournaments na format. Almost always you auto ban Ionia, so you could so you parang you bring a lineup of 3 decks na that would be good if you ban Ionia.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to address at the moment with all the Ionia changes eh. Parang we want you to be comfortable not banning Ionia. I think that's what Riot is trying to say with all these. Ang dami kasi, di ba? If you count it, Solitary Monk, Shadow Assassin, Flash, Heimer, it's not Ionia but plays well with Ionia decks.
Yeah.
So, yun yung ina-address nila at the moment. But I really don't feel this nerf as well.
Pero ano ba ilalabas ng Heimer pag 5 cost?
5 cost yung 5 mana, 5/1 quick attack.
Quick attack.
Tama ba? Quick attack, yeah.
Quick attack yata. Tama. Quick attack. So, this is actually a big nerf for the archetype as well. Imagine you only need one extra mana from your save mana pool just to have a good counter for big cards on the board. But now it's 5 cost na rin. So you will really have to account with that. Meron talaga siyang butterfly effect sa deck making mo. And final words, Miggy the Great, for this nerf.
Um, medyo I'd like to contest yung kanina na this was for the conquest format. I don't
Hmm.
think Riot for format. Like
Hmm.
see, I follow Rubin Zoo sa
Hmm.
Twitter. So
Hmm.
he's one of the developers
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
and yeah, he parang they they're not advocates of the ban system.
Yeah.
So yeah, wala lang. I just want to point out. I don't think they're thinking about conquest with this term. They're just thinking about. I think they're thinking about that.
Hmm.
If mid range goes against Ionia, they're significantly outmatched when there's a timely will of Ionia. That's why they wanted to do this, I think.
Okay. So how about you, Adele? Any final words on this nerf?
Final words, final thoughts.
Yeah.
Yun nga, parang Riot, it's too much, you know.
Yeah.
Isa-isa lang. Kasi hindi lang
Yeah.
double tap to eh. Quintuple tap.
Mm. Yeah.
Parang nag-Valorant na.
Actually, that's one of the reasons, Adele and Miggy. That's why I wanted to do this show. Kasi I was looking at the nerfs. Paisip pa pagising ko kanina umaga, sabi ko, ang dami naman ito. May parang ang laki ng pinagbago, hindi kagaya ng previous patches. And I said, okay, let's do a show with the community to see how they to see what they think about it, no? And yan talaga. Ang dami nangyari. And huling-huli, yung pinakahuli natin, Zaunite Urchin. Old text is last breath, draw 1 to play me, discard 1. New text, to play me, discard 1, and now draw 1. So hindi na kailangan mamatay para mag-draw. So, what are your thoughts on this, Miggy the Great?
Yeah, as I said before, I love this game. Uh, Lalo na to, like Zonite Urchin, just
Mm.
one cost.
Mm.
So it's really pang control. Pwede pang control because there's not much mana investment for
Mm.
this effect.
Yeah.
So that was my bad. It's sobrang gandang utility for control.
Okay, how about you, Adele? What are your thoughts on this
Ako,
change?
yeah, when I first saw this card dun sa patch notes, naisip ko agad parang, wow,
I'm sorry.
what this cards present is um, choices, no? Difficult choices. Kasi when you're gonna run the Draven Jinx, discard aggro, pipili ka na talaga ano yung kukunin mong one drop.
Mm.
Ideally, you would run minimum of 6 one drops
Mm.
and maybe maximum of 9 if you're the aggro deck. So, hindi na parang auto-include si Precious Pet and Legion Saboteur. I think
Mm.
now you have to choose between yung unang choices, this
Mm.
one, Zaunite Urchin,
Mm.
and the Astute Academic, ata yung 1 mana na pag nagdodraw ka,
Yeah.
nag-gain siya ng 1 power.
Yeah.
So, I think yun, Astute Academic and Zaunite Urchin are solid 1 drops for the discard archetype rather than going for the Noxus variants
Mm.
na Legion Saboteur and Precious Pet.
Oo nga, no?
Ganun ko siya nakita.
Oo. Ganda. Needs ko. Yeah, Ako naman, inisip ko talaga na since it has already support from the other cards na some treasure, yung Arena Bookie, although Noxus, it forces you into a Noxus Spiltover and Zone combination, di ba? Pag ganun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Force talaga eh. Kasi yung makikita mo yung tatlong cards deals with the discard mechanic. Or, yeah, tama. Yeah. So, for force talaga. Yun talaga inisip nila. Looks good, no? For the, for an aggro deck to use these cards. Kasi, one of the problems on an aggro deck is it's always running out of steam. So, with this kind of cycling, it's also good para sa mga gumagamit sa mga aggro, sa mga players kagaya ni Adele. And Miggy, aggro ka ba, Igri? Miggy? Ma-aggro ka ba?
Mm, I'm just a slave to the meta.
Okay. Ako, minsan kasi pag I really want to play aggro decks, lalo na pag para mabilisan lang, para makuha mo na yung fix mo. Yeah, laro na ako ng aggro. Ito na. Basta may naka-ready na ako. But, okay. So that's, those are the changes that we have seen. Mga nerf and buffs. Pero ngayon, we're gonna play a small video para sa inyo dalawa to react to, of course. Wait lang ha. Hindi natin this one.
The dragon binds us.
Cute.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
My destination? I'll tell you when I get there.
We each hold a world within.
I go where the road takes me.
Oh, so what do you think about that event? Ganda, no? Pink. Let's go to Adele first.
Ganda. Ay, sila masasabi ko doon, Riot, take my money.
Yeah, gano'n. Gano'n. Pay. Mapapa, ano?
So, meron pa nga
Yeah.
kaming teammate na nag-post ng parang galing sa Reddit na
Yeah.
pinibreakdown na yung expenses.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, what you're getting versus
Yeah.
yung total talagang cost niya in-game. Sabi,
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, I don't care kahit magkano pa yan.
Yeah.
Well, actually, yung breakdown niya sulit eh. It's
Mm.
very sulit. And then sabi nung isa naming teammate na si Hejin, parang, eto pala yung kapalit ng Ionia nerfs.
Oh,
Bibigyan
yeah.
ka ng magandang board.
Parang ano yan, tawag sabihin, yung, for the lack of a better term, consuelo de bobo. No?
No, yan.
Diba? Diba? How about you, Miggy? Any insights into this event?
So yeah, I have 5k coins stored. So mababawasan for sure.
Di ba? Ako rin eh.
Tapos ano ba? I don't think I'm gonna need the NCS for my streams now because that sound from the board.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the sound from the board. It's so calming. I need it.
Calming.
I
Yeah.
need it.
Pwede nga, no? Kasi yung iba parang ang aggressive ng sounds eh. Pero, anyway. Ako naman, personally, I like the theme. It's pink. Looks nice. Plus yung current na, anong tawag natin? Familiars or repeats. Magbabago rin sila. It's really nice. And for those na umabot na sa wall or sa ceiling ng experiences nila, this is a good event to buy for you to move on forward and experience some change within the game. Yeah, I'm all for it. Okay, I would buy it as well. Also with my own money. But then again, pag nabigay yung riot ng no, baka mamaya, malay mo, magbigay sila ng free. Sasali ako sa raffle na yun. Diba? Malay mo. So, yeah, I would recommend this to you guys to buy this as well. So, kumbaga, out of the 3 people in this how do you say this, talk show, 3 out of 3 would buy. No? Correct?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, it's a good change. It's a good event. Looks really nice aesthetically. And a lot of people over at the chat, or of course, sabi of CKM, ora buy sa Advent Pass. Yejin says, must buy. And they say it's ironic, no? Ironic na talaga na. And also, parang merong I'm seeing some support for Yasuo right there. Diba? Kita mo, parang, sinusuportahan nila. Alam mong yung mga changes is actually good for the Yasuo. Brixanis says, yan. So, with that, let's end the show, no? Thank you again for spending your time with us. Everyone who's on the stream, of course, Miggy the Great and Adele. Any final words before we close this the show? Miggy the Great.
Okay, so shout out to all the tyrants right now. What's up, tyrants lang malakas, sabi nila. Their words, not mine. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Okay. So for Adele, any final words?
Yeah, first I'd like to thank you, Excelsior, for having us. No, I really enjoyed the sana ma-invite ulit sa next pat. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd like to promote our page lang, no? Tyrants over on Facebook. We're a competitive LoR team, no?
Yep.
And I'd like to shout out my teammates, no? Lahat na nagsubaybay dito sa stream natin tonight.
Yep.
Obsikiem, Big Sanity, Hyejin, Sisteos, Big Sanity, mentioned.
Yeah.
And to our partners in Elusive Gaming, as well as our friends from All Skill Gang and Sino Zero Infinity.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys. And yeah.
So, ayan, again, inaano ko yung headset ko kasi narinig ko sarili ko eh, parang nagdo-double, nabubulol ako.
Nag-echo.
You know, so anyway. Again, thank you everyone for joining this the stream, of course, and so chill lang tayo dito. If you have any shoutouts right there over the chat, yan, sabi ni Brixanity, www.facebook.com/tyrantsph. Thank you. Just join that, of course. Thank you. Don't forget to also follow this page, twitch.tv/excelsiorph. And we're going to do more of these Nerf This episodes, lalo na pag nagkaroon tayo ng mga newer patches, no? Invite pa tayo ng mga ibang members na from the community, no? Also, I really like na we're growing as a community, and also, syempre, chill lang tayo dito. Wala masyadong toxic sa community. Kung may toxic lang sa sarili mo, mag-ano ka na lang. Ano mo? Berate yourself from not playing well, di ba? Pero don't take it out on the other people. But also, of course, let's keep safe, no? And stay at home with your Legends Frontera. Doon ka na lang maglaro sa bahay. And pag natapos na yung quarantine, probably by next year, syempre gawa tayo ng ground event, no? Para masaya talaga. And that's what we do here. Sa Channel 8 Games, we do create ground events as well for games, and also sa tournaments. Yan, kasali si Miggy the Great sa si Adele. Join the Channel 8 Games Hub. And also, nga pala, meron pa tayong last one. Meron pa tayong raffle. Okay? Mag-join kayo guys.
Uy.
Raffle for a mouse next week. Okay? And also, please share that.
Oo.
Share nyo yan,
Speaking of that.
Okay? So with that, thank you for joining, guys. We're going to end the show. Say bye-bye, guys. Miggy the Great and Adele. Thank you. So wala
Thank you, Channel 8 Games.
Thank you, Thank you, guys. Thank you for
you.
watching. And also, I'll be posting this to Facebook pag na-download ko na sa Twitch, and post it to the Facebook to my page as well. You can also share that for the people who are not able to watch. Baka may makuha kayong idea sa bagong patches or bagong changes sa cards. And with that, thank you for watching. Good night, guys. This has been Excelsior PH, Miggy the Great, and Adele. Thank you and good night. Bye, guys.